When you play a game like Minecraft for the first time, you'd think that it was made by huge companies for how popular it got. But that's not true, because this game was created in someone's bedroom and somehow went global. There are many games under that category, and today I'm going to be checking them out to see the journey of their success. Let's start with one of my favorite indie series, and it is Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, if you saw my FNAF 2 movie review, you'd know that I'm a big fan of the series, and I've been there since the first game. Well, before we're talking about the game itself, let's talk about the original developer of the games, which is Scott Cawthon. Now, before Five Nights at Freddy's, he had already made some small indie games, but most of them didn't succeed, and also he had some Christian-themed games and animations. He mostly worked alone, with such limited success and attention, and even at some point, one of his unsuccessful games got criticized because the characters looked creepy. And that criticism led to Five Nights at Freddy's, the game we all love and know. So instead of making his characters less creepy, he fully embraced the horror genre. He made a horror game set in a pizza place, animatronics that move when you're not looking, and a simple survival system. Now, the journey to being global started when YouTubers started playing it. The videos obviously blew up because the game was mysterious and it was unique at its time. And the gameplay loop wasn't that boring at all. Now, after it blowing up, everybody started to check the story because it was kinda cryptid, and everybody started to make theories, which kept its popularity high for months. The sequel releases 1 year after the first one did, and it just complicates the story even more. And not only the story gets improved and gets crazier, the gameplay even gets better. Scott has added mini games and added more mechanics to the game to make it better. And that basically became the cycle for like the first 5 FNAF games. Each game resets understanding, adds new confusion, which leads to more theories, which keeps reviving the YouTube attention cycle, never really allowing the series to end because of how many theories are coming out every second. And originally, Scott was going to end the game at the 4th part, but fans kept demanding for the story to continue because it was still pretty weird, and Scott delivered. And the character design plays a great part in this too, because you know, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica looked very cute and stuff, but when playing it in the jump scares, they were absolutely terrifying. So that what made it appeal to fans because of how unique the game idea is. The game got so big that at some point, Scott stopped being the only storyteller. The community became lore researchers, timeline builders, and hidden clue hunters. Basically became more than a game. It's now a thing that fans have built together. And at its peak, every FNAF game that released got millions of views whether the channel was popular or not. And with that success, Five Nights at Freddy's actually expanded into novels, creating a huge multiverse. How the story stopped being locked inside of the gameplay or the games only, and the lore finally became understandable for once. You seriously don't know how big the universe got from the novels alone. And of course, with every success, merch exists. And FNAF merch became everywhere in 2016 to 2019 time range. I'm not sure when it exploded exactly. You'd find animatronics mystery packs in a Target or a Walmart and everywhere else. Just like Mario, Pokemon, and Sonic. I know, Nintendo with Five Nights at Freddy's is such a weird combination, but you get what I mean. And now we get to the thing that you could say officially made Five Nights at Freddy's global, which is the movie. Now, every Five Nights at Freddy's fan went crazy when they knew that a Five Nights at Freddy's film was being created, and the trailer made them go even crazier. Because seeing the animatronics, the pizza place, and everything else in real life was just insane. That was something that the fans really wanted for a long time. Now, the movie was produced by Blumhouse Productions, and directed by Emma Tammy, who's a known American filmmaker for working in horror and atmospheric storytelling. The story of the movie was written by, of course, Scott Cawthon and Seth Cuddeback and Emma Tammy. Yes, she directed the movie and also co-wrote. And some of the big names that acted in this movie were Josh Hutcherson and Elizabeth Lail and Matthew Lillard. Honestly, nobody could believe that these people were acting in a Five Nights at Freddy's film. The movie released and it succeeded because everybody enjoyed it, or let's just say the FNAF fans enjoyed it. Because critics absolutely shat on this movie, making me think that it was horrendous. But it wasn't actually, I really liked it. After that, they actually released a new game, which is Secret of the Mimic. And it was way better than Security Breach in my opinion. Which, like always, opened the door for more theories and more fans to enter the franchise. And a few months after that, FNAF 2 movie released. I mean, all of this really shows you that Scott has gone globally in the best way possible. And I can't lie, I'm really proud. I was a fan since the first game, so it's beautiful to see that this game really succeeded. Well, now I'd like to go and talk about another successful indie developer, which is Toby Fox. You might be familiar with the name because he created Undertale, one of the most successful indie games ever. Now, Toby Fox was just an ordinary kid who was interested in music and video games, and even at some point, music was the only thing he could express himself in. He used to experiment with some tunes and share his work online, but even that didn't give him enough experience to create a game like Undertale. But before Undertale, he was involved in a webcomic called Homestuck, created by Andrew Hussey, I hope I said his name right, and Toby Fox contributed with music to that project. Now, the webcomic had quite the fan base, and that allowed Toby to see how music and fun characters can unite people or something. I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, since that webcomic experience, Toby had developed some skills and understanding that made him want to try something new. And that is Undertale. And just like Scott, the game was created mostly by Toby. Handled the programming, the writing, the characters, and especially the music. With that, the theme of the game would be pretty controlled because everything is just what Toby would have wanted in the game. Not different people putting different views into the game, different aspects and stuff, you get what I mean. And unlike other RPGs, the game expects you to fight everybody, but you could also spare some enemies if you wanted to. And with those choices, the story, dialogue, and atmosphere would shift based on what you chose. A few years later, Undertale releases in 2015, and it didn't look like something that would go global, make Toby Fox as this insane developer. It was something simple. The graphics were almost retro, and the gameplay was just really simplified. There was nothing complex about it. And to be honest, that's not necessarily a bad point because it made the writing and characters and even the music stand out. And when players started playing the game, they quickly connected with characters like Sans and Papyrus. That's because every character had a distinct personality, a type of humor, and emotionally deep overall. And that's why when you check out the game's fan base, you'd see that almost every character has its own fan group. Feels like they're doing too much, but I'm a child that only plays ball and shooter games, so what do I know? It's a joke, I swear I'm not a casual gamer. Anyways, moving on, now let's talk about how it actually blew up. Just like Five Nights at Freddy's, the explosion came through the internet, YouTube specifically. Undertale was the perfect game for YouTube at that time because Let's Play YouTubers were playing these weird obscure games that nobody knew. And Undertale was surprisingly loved by everybody, because even if you didn't play it and only wanted to watch it to maximize your LARP, I'm talking to you, you nasty LARPer, it made almost any YouTuber that plays the game get insane views. And it's not because it's just Undertale, it's because every player has a unique experience. Some went through a peaceful route and the others went through a violent route. And of course, there are also some that balance between the two. And now, as more people played and shared it, the fan base grew rapidly. Fans started to create stuff. Cool fan art, cool animations, questionable cosplays, and the most important one of them all is music covers. You know your game made it when people started making music covers. And just like FNAF, the fans didn't just support the game, they expanded it. Undertale became something bigger than just the indie game. They made it into an internet phenomenon. Now at that point, Toby Fox had effectively gone global, not through getting published by a big company or having movies or any of that, but because how strong the design was, how strong the emotional impact was, and how far the community have driven it. At that point, his game was widely recognized and gained a reputation as one of the most successful indie developers in gaming history. Now after Undertale, Toby Fox didn't try to live off the game's fame or just make another cheap copy of it. He began working on something that had his identity but had a different structure and design. And it plagued the internet for a while. I think you know what I'm talking about, and it's Deltarune. The game was based on chapters. Unlike Undertale, which released all at once, Deltarune was releasing gradually. And that also meant the Deltarune plague was spreading gradually too. I mean, it's crazy, you'd see a Deltarune fan anywhere at this point. I mean, that alone could be enough proof that Toby has really made it global. Now let's talk about a game so good that it somehow managed to brainrot 2 generations without dying even once. And that is Minecraft, ladies and gentlemen. Now we all know that Minecraft is currently owned by Microsoft, but they didn't create it. They actually bought it off Marcus Persson, who's also known as Notch. Before Minecraft, Marcus Persson was a programmer in the game industry, but he was also experimenting with simple games and systems long before he was even known. He was always drawn to how games worked at a mechanical level. He enjoyed building systems, testing ideas, and seeing how players interacted with them. Like I said, he worked as a programmer in the game industry, but he wasn't working at any massive well-known studio. Sure, his day job gave him experience, but it wasn't where his biggest ideas came from. Those actually came from his personal projects he worked on in his free time. Those experiments actually turned out to be one of the most important parts of his development as a creator. That's because creators at his time were too afraid to experiment and try something new. Now in 2009, he started working on what became Minecraft later. And just like any indie project ever, it wasn't seen as something big. It was a simple sandbox game made of block, having very basic graphics and minimal features. And it didn't have no deep story, no cinematic presentation, and no clear goal, to be honest. Players were placed in a world where they could break or place blocks and just explore. That's about it. Sure, you could say Minecraft was simple, but it had one of the best ideas ever: total player freedom. Minecraft only gave them the world and let the players decide for themselves. They could build whatever they want, explore caves, gather resources, or just simply wander. It basically just made the players to create their own paths. And also, unlike other games, Notch released the game early. And by early, I mean the game wasn't even finished yet. People could buy and play the game while it's still being developed, meaning they could see it pretty much evolve in real time. Players didn't just play it. They suggested cool unique features, stated out bugs, stuff like that. And that what made the game loved at the start. The strong connection between the developer and his community. And as the game developed, more features were added. Survival elements, crafting system, enemies, and exploration mechanics slowly turned into a deeper experience. Even though the experience was getting deeper, the simple block-based design remained. This made it accessible to a wide range of players and devices. I mean, 5-year-olds were playing the game at that time. And now let's talk about how it blew up. And it's the same as Undertale and FNAF. Through YouTube, of course. Minecraft was perfect for content creation, because every player's world was different and every session could lead to something new. This meant that the creators can release crazy amount of content without the fear of repetition. There was survival series, building series, challenges, you name it. And funny enough, Minecraft actually created some content creators. YouTubers that we all know and love. They went from just experiencing the game alone to having millions of fans enjoying the experience too. The Minecraft community didn't just play Minecraft, they expanded it. Players created mods, added new mechanics, new items, and entirely new ways to play. Others built custom maps. Some could be full story driven, and the other could be a fun map to explore. And when multiplayer was added, the servers introduced new unique game modes that everybody loved. And over time, Minecraft, rather than being a single player game, it became a platform where a player could do whatever he wants. And as its popularity grew, so did its reach. Minecraft spread across different countries, age groups, and type of players. At some point, the only game everybody was playing was just Minecraft. So in order to support the game's growth, Notch founded a company called Mojang. The team expanded, updates became more structured, and Minecraft continued to evolve. But as the game grew, the pressure grew too, because the game had already become incredibly successful and managing it was no longer a small team project. So in 2014, a major turning point came to Minecraft when Mojang was acquired by Microsoft for $2.5 billion. Which officially marked Minecraft as a global product. I mean, it was backed by one of the biggest technology companies in the world after all. But after the sale, unfortunately, Notch decided to step away from the company. He chose not to continue working on Minecraft, leaving its future development to the team in Microsoft. You'd think the game would flop now that the mastermind has stepped down, but Minecraft didn't slow down at all. It continued to grow, reaching even more players and expanding into other platforms too. And everybody loved the new content. And that alone showed that the game had reached a point where it was bigger than its original creator. Now, Notch is no longer actively involved in Minecraft or major game development. Even though he tried, it didn't really work out that much for him. But still, a great developer that showed how a simple idea built around freedom and creativity can grow far beyond its original scope. I mean, now there's a Minecraft movie that I'd like not to talk about, and a second one coming on the way. Really insane how a building blocks game got that big, honestly. So that's it for today. I really thought that this video idea was cool and had so much fun finding out more about these developers. If you enjoyed the video, it'd be really cool if you liked and subscribed so I could finally make it and I could finally be recognized by Asus. If you ask why, so they could partner with me and maybe send me a new gaming laptop. I mean, all I got is a PS4. And Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake is dropping next month. I mean, I don't even have to make it. They could partner with me right now and that would be a billionaire move. Because I'm a funny, cool guy, know a lot about video games, and really like Asus. I even made them this drawing as an indie upcoming drawing artist. You know, it'd be cool if I try the new Black Flag Remake. Yeah, I'll go kill myself.